Okay, well, welcome. Um, I'm not surprised that this is our first, what I called our announcement session for our class. Let me move my cursor here so it's not pointing at my face. But this is going to be a session that I'm going to have every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. And basically, I do that because it's kind of in my schedule that when if you read my or listened to my video um, for the syllabus review, that particularly, I'm doing this instead of, I used to, every week, I would send out an announcement. And what I used to do is, particularly, I would just write those announcements. And so now what I want to do is do a video. Now, what I also did is I did a Zoom session because I do most of my videos on Zoom, and I'm recording this right now. So if any of you are joining, are going to join, you know that I'm going to be recording this. That you can at least see what I'm thinking about in class, because in a remote class, on a synchronous class like this, you never get a chance to talk to your professor. And, communications could be through emails or whatever. So now you have kind of a personal, um, you know, avenue to, at least on here, just one way. But, I'm giving people the ability to come on this. And hopefully, as the class goes on, people will come in. What I'm going to do on this one is that it's 30 minutes long. And I'm not going to record for 30 minutes. What I'm going to do is I may record for 30 minutes if somebody comes on, but and I'll stay on for 30 minutes. But the fact is that I don't want you to listen to a long, boring, um, video. I'm just going to basically, for the beginning of each week, what I expect for you from each week. Okay. And anything that's basically pertinent to the class. All right. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. And let's see. Where do I want to go? Okay. You know what? I'm just going to just generally share my screen. Okay. And again, let me go to the syllabus. Okay, I'm not sharing that. So let me stop the share and let me just share the entire concept so you can see this. Okay. As I said, and this is in the video, okay, that this class announcement sessions will be from 4 to 4:30 Eastern time on Wednesdays. And this is my personal Zoom, and this is how you can get a hold of me. So what I want to do, the announcement that I really have today, okay, is that one of the things that came about, and this is something I kind of apologize, because I sent out a note saying don't do any teamwork until the end of this week. Because what happened is that when I set up this module that basically has the overview of the project, because this is a good part of your grade. And the fact is that one of the things that I had said is that I will assign the project groups. And unfortunately, what I did is that I put the wrong discussion one, and it basically kind of threw you all for a loop in terms of, are we going to, the students of the class going to solicit to the teams, or am I going to assign the teams? The bottom line is this is what I'm highlighting here, that I am assigning these teams. Okay. There's a lot of argument between assigning and letting folks kind of form their own teams. Okay. And there's good and there's bad to each side. I've done both because I've taught a lot of world campus classes before. And I always have team projects. If you ever have me for a world campus class, you're gonna get a project. Even my IST with an 11S, there's a project, okay? Because I feel that's important. That's my final exam. You're not gonna have a final exam for me. You're going to, I'm gonna assign, I'm gonna assign this project, and the project is gonna be how you relate the information we talk about, for that, okay? And, particularly, I kind of took that discussion, it's about me, I use specifically to kind of look around and go in and sign the teams. And I think I've signed the teams pretty well. I listened to a couple of your comments. A lot of folks called me about, sent to me about, being with certain groups, and I'm going to allow that. I never usually do because I like you to have diverse groups through your world campus IST college experience. And if you stay with the same groups, that's one of the bad things of signing your own teams, because people get kind of get the familiar groups where you do that. And that's not real world, okay? Real world, you're not going to be working with the same people all your entire career, okay? You're going to move from group to group to group. And it's good to be able to work with diverse folks that basically are part of the group. That's a part of it. It's a nice competency of being able to handle inclusiveness. So that's why I do that. Okay. So basically, the first thing I want to talk about is I want to go to the people tab. And what happened is that I put together a project group. Okay. And I'll expand these so that, you can kind of stop the video and find out where you kind of reside within these specific groups. And kind of one of the things you'll notice, okay, is that I have 40 people in the class. So what I had to do is that I really wanted, I wanted, the ability to have 7 groups, okay? And so what I ended up doing is that some groups have 5 students or have 5 members. Some groups have 6 members, okay? And particularly these are what the groups look like, okay? What you should start to do now is to reach out to your team. Go in and particularly, take a leadership, okay? Start to realize, get to know these names, get to know their emails. If you go to everyone in the class, okay, you have the ability to look at their emails, and you should be checking your Penn State emails. If you're not checking your Penn State emails, you better start doing it, okay? And the thing is that a lot of folks, one of the things that Penn State uses is Microsoft Teams, okay? And you should start to pick that up. Hopefully, you've come up with this idea of knowing how to communicate through Penn State. Penn State has standardized on Microsoft products. And one of the things that they use is Teams. Okay. So I lost my phone in my office here at Penn State Great Old Canyon. And now we communicate through Teams. So, there's something that you should be aware of. Okay. And these are the folks, and you have that ability to communicate with them. So those are your teams. All right. What you should start to think about in your teams, okay, is go to the modules. All right. And there's your, there's the finding the project type of situation. Okay. A lot of you either work for companies, a lot of you have had internships, and you have some relationship with some company, or you have that ability. Okay. See if because you've been in, you've taken a lot of classes to get to this, including 420, and 420 has like a lot of prereqs. Okay. The only prereq for 421 is 420. And so, you've taken a lot of classes that specifically talk about organizations and you should have been close to maybe getting an internship, because this is kind of like a fourth year type of class. So, maybe you have that ability to, find a project within an organization that involves a real enterprise integration problem. Okay. And keep in mind is that, all organizations have enterprise integration problems, and state has, okay. We have a portal, okay. And a lot of times our applications do not integrate. It's still at a horizontal and a stovepipe type of situation that you have. All right. So, and states in that realm. Okay. There's a lot of companies are like that. Okay. Maybe you can get involved. Maybe you can get with a project you can do. That first one is going to be kind of tough to do. Okay. Because this what you're looking at right now is for the real problem is you're looking at for a solicited RFP, a request for proposal. Okay, maybe there's a request for proposal out there that you can respond to. Okay, maybe you see that in a group. Okay. The second one is an unsolicited request for proposal. Okay. Basically, you take the same type of company, okay, and you want to be able to do a recommendation. So, maybe that's the type of things. But again, it goes down to the fact that you're going to be doing requirements gathering, you're going to be designing, and you're going to do prototyping. I'm not going to ask you to buy equipment or purchase equipment or request that, but you're going to have to build a prototype. And guess what? 420, you should have learned UML, Universal Markup Language. So you can start to prototype through UML. And if you you didn't learn it in 420, pick up a book on Unified Modeling Language. Or if you forgot about it, okay, pick up a book on Unified Modeling Language and start to build, start to do, use case, go into all the specific things of all different types of diagrams that you need for UML, okay, and start to build those prototypes, okay, it's a good language to learn. It is a language, and it's a computer aided software engineering, okay, and you have that ability to do that, okay. Same thing with the unsolicited, RFP, okay. And the thing is that you notice there's a lot of documents that you can use to build this RFP. And that comes from a lot of that stuff comes from the Bernstein-Wu book, okay, that you have. And oh, by the way, if you don't know O'Reilly.com, you can get the Bernstein-Wu book, the book that I mentioned on O'Reilly.com. So look for it. All right. All these integrate project documents, you can pull from that book. All right. Or, come up with a case study, a hybrid, some type of project that basically you want to do this. And probably a lot of you are going to be able to do this, be able to come up with some type of RFP. Okay. I specifically do when I teach a lot of the IST classes that I teach, and I teach here at Penn State Great Arcane, I talk about a historical spot, aspect, okay? And there's been a lot of famous RFPs that have gone to, through the ARPANET, where we developed a lot of things, okay? And a lot of them came from these blue sky type of capabilities that you have, okay? So, you either find a company, okay, that maybe is looking at doing some integration, okay? Number two, suggest to a company some type of integration. or the third thing is that you come up with an idea, okay? But, you know, this is, this is kind of a, this is, as they say, the world's your oyster type of thing, where, you know, you're basically coming in and, you know, trying to design something that is pretty much like a capstone type class. I mean, this isn't your capstone class. It's pretty much close to it. So, you know, think about that, and we should be working, you can add your groups to do that, okay? The Sharif book and the Bernstein Rue book, okay, will give you a lot of direction towards being able to talk about immigration. So, so for this week, you know, there's some readings, there's some things in the modules you have to do. We have some quizzes, and you know, you basically have to start to you know, start to think about your project. Okay, so start to reach out to your groups, right? The last thing I want to say is that, you know, don't get hung up on deadlines, okay, or due dates. Okay, I'm not, and I said this in my syllabus review, I'm not big on this. Okay, pace yourself. You know, you're basically professionals. The due dates are guidelines. And you know, don't get hung up on the fact that the due date is a certain time, because I think that basically the first project review is, you know, January 29th. Okay. I'll be doing some starfish, um, uh, you know, some starfish evaluations probably in the next couple of weeks. And I'll kind of tell you where you're standing, okay? Because I'll see, you know, what you've been doing. Are you taking the quizzes? Do I see how much time you're spending on Canvas? You know, I look at all those specific things. So, you know, take your own professional responsibility to get this done, and don't get hung up on due dates. All right. But don't fall behind, okay? Use these as guidelines and try to pace yourself, okay? So, that's basically it for my announcement. I'm going to post this announcement on you know, on Canvas announcements, and you can see that, and you'll have the ability to use. Okay, so I am going to stop the recording, and I'll see you next week.